Hi everybody, I'm Helen Pritchard and I help people understand how to use LinkedIn to get more leads for their businesses. I wanted to just take a little bit of time to talk about why why I love LinkedIn specifically, and why I now help other people to understand how to use LinkedIn to get leads for their own businesses. So I'm going to take you on a little journey, if you like. We're going to go back in time. We're going to go 10 years back in time, in fact, when I was starting out in my business. So I run a digital agency in Warrington in the UK, and we help companies with their social media, but specifically for recruitment. So we're an employer branding agency, basically. Wasn't always this way. So when I first started out in business, I was like a lot of people, I guess. I just knew I didn't want to go back to work. I had two very small children, and I wanted to have my own business. Now, there were a few things that were challenging around that great aim, I guess. So if just set the scene a little bit. So I was newly separated. I had two children under 5. I had been doing bits and bits of business, but I hadn't done anything sort of serious with it. I was in quite severe financial difficulty, and I also had really challenging mental health problems. So I was a single mum, and I wasn't particularly well, so I wasn't confident. I was suffering quite badly with agoraphobia and panic disorder, which I've had treatment for in the past. Well, at that time in my life, I was quite poorly, wasn't very confident, didn't really like going and talking to people, and certainly talking in front of people was a bit of a challenge. I had the two young children, so logistically getting to things was difficult. I had financial problems. I mean, now we talk about 6-figure earners, that kind of thing. I was almost 6 figures the other way after the breakdown of my marriage and the financial crash. And things were a little bit challenging. So for me to grow my business, one of the first things you think to do is I'll go out, I'd go to a networking meeting. So a breakfast networking meeting where you have to stand up and talk for 40 seconds or whatever it might be. It was totally out of the question, pretty much, because I couldn't afford it, I couldn't face it, and I couldn't get to it. So I sort of thought, I was kind of, as my business was going slowly and getting bits by word of mouth, and like most businesses just kind of happen and things are happening. And then I sort of thought, I'd better see what this LinkedIn's all about, because it seems to be a good business to business networking platform. So I thought that's what I need, I guess. And I made a ton of mistakes. So I kind of just did my best. I used it like a CV. I sort of wrote about how great I was and how good I was at social media. I'd done quite well on Facebook and Twitter. So Twitter was quite new then. And I'd got quite a good following, and people seemed to ask me to help them with their social media. And Facebook, I was sort of there at the beginning, but LinkedIn was totally alien to me. I just didn't really understand it at all. I'd not used it in the corporate world at all. But I started using it slowly but surely and developed this process that made sense to me. And I thought everyone else did it like this. Eventually, I looked at what wasn't working, and I started to understand who my ideal clients were, how I could potentially appeal to them and talk to them. And then it was kind of, how can I get them to come and look at my LinkedIn profile and then take that step towards me to do some business. And I sort of started this process of, I know who my ideal client is now, and I've written my headline and my summary to talk directly to them. Let's now create content. So I'm a content marketer, I guess, by trade. Let's create content that they're going to be interested in. Let's do some engagement and talking to them, that kind of thing. And let's add loads of new people. So that was a kind of the process. And if you've seen any of my stuff, you'll understand that that's been tweaked and developed and refined over the years. But crucially, that was it. And it just blew my mind, really, that no matter where I was at, I could financially, mentally, logistically, I could use this platform to generate leads for my business, and I did. I get all my business comes from LinkedIn, from my digital agency, and it just made perfect sense to me. It's not really obvious. So I've kind of developed this process or method or whatever you want to call it, and then I thought, well, when things had really taken off for me and the business was going well, I wanted to generate some more some income for myself personally. And I thought, what am I good at? And I thought, well, I'm good at getting leads for my business through LinkedIn. How could I create something that I can help people? It's going to generate some income for me, but it can also help people who were where I was sort of 10 years or between 5 and 10 years ago. You know, it's not that easy for people to naturally go to networking or to go to events, that kind of thing. Sometimes there are things that don't allow people to do that. And LinkedIn just allows you this opportunity to talk to people all over the world in a business context and showcase what you can do. And it's also really good for local marketing. So I thought, well, how can I help people get more leads from LinkedIn? And that's where I developed my £99 sessions. And I did hundreds of them. I thought I'd do 20 and that would be that. But they were really, really popular. And what I learned from that is that the system that I developed works for everybody, no matter what your business. And I thought, well, it's just mine and it works for me and that kind of thing. But to see all of my hundreds of clients since then, I've done the strategy sessions, I've done talks, I've done workshops, I've done masterminds, I've done courses that people can just download and do themselves. And the system works no matter what the company and who that person is. So it's really interesting for me to see that it makes sense across the board, basically. Even if you're not a business to business, you can still use LinkedIn to generate leads if you're a business to consumer business, because LinkedIn's 432 million people. They're all consumers. They're all got houses, dogs, cats, children. Anything that you could think that somebody would potentially be a user of your product or service, whether you're B2C or B2B, they are on there. And just using this system to develop your own network and grow your network, so that it's basically, I can guarantee that you're going to be getting between 10, 20, maybe more ideal potential prospects coming to look at your specific landing page or summary, which is written directly for them every single day. So it's great, isn't it? Like, if you could have said that 10 years ago, you'd be like, where do I sign up? Where do I pay? But fundamentally, it's free. So LinkedIn's free to use. Yes, there's some debate about premium and that kind of thing, but fundamentally LinkedIn is a free to use platform where you can generate leads for your business all the time. You can grow your network, you can get ideal people in there, you can talk to them, you can let them see your content, you can do video, you can do all the things that you can do on all the other platforms, but it's full of these, you can be really, really targeted about the people that you want to allow into that world. So it allows you to be very, very specific and get exactly the kind of leads that you want. And that, I guess, is why I love it so much. It's almost like the system is a bit of a license to generate leads whenever you need them. So you can have one type of business and you can change it and redo it all again. But once you understand the system, you can redo it again and again and again. So it's fantastic and I love it. And I love talking to people about it because it's like, just switch onto it and you can go out there and totally transform your business. Like, it completely transformed not just my business, but my life as well. So it's fantastic. So that's why I love LinkedIn. Thank you very much. See ya.